Hey everybody, Josh from Dicus Enterprises here. So this time we're going to be taking a look at another Harbor Freight tool. This time it's going to be a Harbor Freight Chicago Electric brand grinding wheel dressing tool. And this is going to be used on your bench grinders for grinding it to a halt and re-smoothing and flattening the actual grinding disc to prevent it from getting any grooves in it. It's $4.49, and it's going to be SKU number 1682 at your local Harbor Freight. Honestly, I'm going to give this one a three star out of 5. Online, it's rated at 4.5. I don't really agree with that rating, to be honest with you. I got a couple of different issues with it. I'm not 100% pleased with it. Let's go take a look at it, and we'll go over what we got. And here we have it. This is the wheel dresser. Now, it does not come from Harbor Freight taken apart like this. And no, I did not take it apart myself. It fell apart today while slowing my grinder down. I was dressing up some tungsten for a TIG welding job that I was working on in the shop here. Start to slow it down and smooth my wheel off because I always redress my wheels after I'm done. And it came apart. Wheels flew out. As you can see, it hit the grinding wheel and kind of ground up the edge. That's not a big deal. And this is the culprit right here. This is going to be the Allen bolt that holds those wheels into the center of that handle. And as you can tell, if we take a look at these threads, they're beautifully clean. There is not a speck of Loctite on that thread at all. And this seems to be a common issue I have with stuff I buy from Harbor Freight. And believe me, I understand Harbor Freight. It's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. And it's by no means high quality most of the time. Usually we only buy tools that we're going to do demos or videos on, or things that we think are actually relatively decent. I don't need a $38 to $50 some wheel dresser. This is $4.49, and if Harbor Freight could learn how to put just the dab of some Loctite, a little dab will do ya, onto these bolts, this would be a much better unit. I'd probably give it the 4.5 stars out of 5 that you see online. As it comes, I'm going to give it a 3. I don't like having to take my tools back apart to re-Loctite and put them back together. It's not exactly, fun. It costs me time, it costs me money. We did another video on I believe it was a Pittsburgh brand a Pittsburgh brand ratchet, and we had the same thing. It was a swivel head, and the actual Allen head bolt that holds it in backed out because it had no Loctite on it. So this is the second tool within the year, I'd say, that we've bought that's fallen apart due to lack of Loctite. And we're going to fix that. And we're going to fix it permanently, because this is high-strength red Loctite. We're not going to go with blue, because I never plan on taking this apart. They do not sell replacement wheels for these through Harbor Freight, at least not that I'm aware of. So pretty much once it's worn, we're chucking it. It's only $4 and change anyway, so it's not that big of a loss. So let's go ahead, grab some tools, and get this thing put back together and fixed. Alright, thankfully we don't need a whole lot for this repair. We need that red Loctite, and then we have a Allen key. And you're going to have to match it up yourself, because this is one I had lying around in the toolbox. Is it marked? It is marked. Would you look at that? 5.5 Allen. So, if you're tightening it, snugging it, or making this repair, that's what you're going to need. Now, if you take a look here, we got a hole in threads on one side, and it's solid blanked on the opposite side. What we're going to do, we've already restacked our wheels here. They don't go in any particular order or anything like that. Just stack them back up, slide them in here the best we can. And then it's just a matter of getting everything lined back up. Now, I guess before we go any further, now that they're lined up, we're going to gently slide that back out. We're going to go ahead and put a little Loctite on that. And I like to let my Loctite set for just about 3 to 10 seconds before I actually thread it in. And that's just me, that's personal preference. I had an old timer tell me that. Honestly, I don't know if it's beneficial or not. It's just a habit I've gotten into, though. So we're going to get some Loctite on this, and we'll go ahead and get it tightened down. I don't know how well you can see it on the camera, but we put a couple dabs of Loctite on there. It's not all the way around. You can see a little bare spot there. But we got enough on the threads that it's going to work its way around. So, I'm going to get this started. And you got to be careful because you got to make sure that all these are lined up in place. And I apologize for the shaky camera. That's my fault. I'm trying to do this one-handed, record and try to do this, and apparently I'm not too good at it. There we go. We're just going to wiggle them all and get them lined up and in place. We'll screw it down a little bit more, and this is just a little bit of a process. You got to take your time. Sadly, the pin doesn't go all the way through before it gets screwed in on these wheels. It goes through as it screws in. So you get one or two in line, and then you screw it down a little bit. Then you get one or two in line, and then you screw it down a little bit. Now the good news is you can tighten down on this pretty good, which we are, because it's not going to actually affect, now my Allen's stuck, it's not going to affect these, because you'll notice we got a big old space in here. You're not trying to close that gap. You want these to free spin. That's the whole point. And that way when we put it up against the grinding wheel and we wiggle it side to side, these spin and start to take material off the face of the grinding wheel. It's the whole idea of a wheel dresser. That way you can keep your wheel clean and smooth without getting any types of grooves in it, which can be dangerous. If you get too deep of a groove in one of them discs, it can actually fracture and it can come apart while it's spinning, which is not a good thing. I'm not too sure about yours, but ours is rated to spin at 3,500 RPM, and I don't want one of those discs coming apart that fast. That's pretty much all there is to it. We're going to let this dry for a while before we use it again. Prior to that, Allen head backing itself off and falling apart, it worked great. We have no issues with it. It doesn't wear super quick. It doesn't throw a lot of debris. It spins freely. It doesn't bind up. It dresses the discs greatly, actually. It does a great job at dressing the discs. I was shocked by that, to be honest with you. And it's just a matter of it falling apart. And I've had this issue with other brands of wheel dressers before. It's not just the Harbor Freight one. And there are a few things I'll give Harbor Freight points for. I do like the idea of the Allen head. I don't like the fact that you don't put Loctite on it. The reason I like the Allen head design is because most of the ones that I've seen, it'll have a little cutout here, a little cutout right here. It's going to have two specialty nuts that go in, and then it's going to have a through pin. And those nuts like to back out, and then the whole assembly falls. It's a little easier, probably, putting it back together than what this is. Just because you slide it in, tighten it down. You don't have to worry about trying to line up all these discs. However, I do like this. If it had Loctite on it, there's no way this can back out. You don't have to worry about it falling off or anything like that. It would also be nice to be able to get replacement discs from Harbor Freight. I know I can probably go online through a tool supplier or eBay and probably find replacement discs for this, but as cheap as this unit is, It's not that big of a deal, and that's probably why Harbor Freight doesn't sell these wheels, because this whole unit's only $4.95, so you might as well just go out and buy a new one. The only other thing I'd like to see is a hole drilled into the back of the handle somewhere. That way we can put a cable or a string or something through it to hang it at the grinding station. It doesn't come with anything like that. I don't have a container or holder underneath my grinding station. At the moment, I don't actually have a grinding station. It's just my bench grinder on my work table. We haven't gotten the stand for it set up yet. So that would be nice to see on, a future model, or even a bigger model. If Harbor Freight, little FYI, you want to make a bigger version of this, I think there's a market for it. Make one, I'd say about 8 inches long. Increase the wheel size a little bit, make the wheels replaceable, and that would work great. I do have bigger bench grinders with larger wheels that spin at higher RPMs, and this little guy here, it really does not like those. So it would be nice if you guys sold a little bit of a larger version of it. Overall, though, I'll give it 3 stars only because it fell apart on me and I had to fix it and put it back together again. That's always going to knock a couple of stars off my rating. Other than that, though, for $4.95, with a little bit of Loctite on the side, you can't beat it. It's hard to go wrong. So, like always, if you guys enjoyed the video, hit like, subscribe, leave us a comment, and then check out our other pages. We're also on Facebook at Dicus Enterprises LLC. Our Instagram page is Dicus_Enterprises. And we also now have a website, www.dicusenterprises.com. And if you haven't checked it out yet already, head over to our other YouTube page, our sister channel. That's our Dicus Racing Team channel. We got to do a little bit of catch up on those videos. However, we got some pretty interesting stuff going on right now with that, with a couple of SCDRA cars, as well as some kart racing. So, check it out, and I'll see you guys next time.